Welcome to Hoyt's Bowhunting Whitetails. It's November 23rd, about 12:15. And we're on day 2 of your first annual rut hunt. I'm going to make an addict out of Jordan yet. We're going to go to a spot that I set up a few weeks back. Very unproven. Don't know really what to expect. But being on the north end of the farm with this south wind, this one makes the most sense. There's a few areas that I know have got some nice bucks in. We've been hunting those areas, we've been seeing them. But none of them will work for this south wind, unfortunately. And I do think this spot has some pretty good potential. It's a good looking spot. I think Jordan will enjoy it because it's a pretty spot, plus the shot opportunities are fairly controlled, not any real long shooting, which sets up, pretty nicely for Jordan and really for me too, for that matter. I like easy shots myself.
Where is it?
Way up in the northwest corner.
Is that the stand or the near that field with the big oak tree and the redneck blind?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That field is still standing soybeans. I've got a stealth cam revolver out in the middle of it, and it does pick up the odd deer. And there are some mature deer every once in a while working through there, but the camera is in the field. And as we've seen on this farm, the deer aren't necessarily in the fields. Even though you think they would be, they'd be coming out to feed, but there must be enough that they can find, right in the timber that they don't have to come out very much to feed. That's kind of what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping that we can catch a cruising buck sort of crisscrossing through there. There's a few bedding areas, small bedding areas out on the end of this point. And again, like I said, that's my hope. It's very unproven, but it's a fun spot. It'll be easy to get to. We're going to drive the tractor within about 300 yards of it, 200 to 300 yards. Going up through the farm in the tractor doesn't seem to have very much impact on the deer. They don't seem to worry too much about that. They forgive that a lot quicker than if we're either walking or on a four-wheeler.
Yeah. It's gorgeous out.
Yeah, it's really nice. Yeah. It's probably 48 degrees.
I bet it feels warmer in the sun at the least. There's not a lot of wind right now.
No, what little bit there is supposed to be out of the southwest switching to south. So we should have a nice, enjoyable afternoon, a little fun tractor ride first, and then we'll get right to the hunting. Hoyt's Bowhunting Whitetails is brought to you by Redneck Blinds, Code of Silence Apparel, the Hunt Stand app, Whitetail Institute, Research Equals Results, B3 Archery, Muddy Outdoors Tree Stands, Stealth Cam Trail Cameras, My Outdoor TV, and Hoyt. It's 2 o'clock and we're settled in. Gosh, it's beautiful. It's almost too warm for November 23rd. But this one's going to be a little bit tricky for timing the shot. You're going to have to pay real close attention to your openings, and then if the deer's walking, stop them in just the right spot. We're going to talk about creating shot opportunities, since this is one thing that Jordan's new to. If you're not real experienced in the tree, it can be a little bit intimidating trying to figure out how to get a good high percentage shot when you don't have control over the location of the animal or how it behaves or how it moves. That can be really tricky. So we'll touch on that a little bit later in the episode. There's a lot of dry leaves down below us. And those squirrels are having a field day, bouncing around, pretending they're white-tailed deer, pretending they're bucks in the rut. Let's talk real quick about creating shot opportunities. And this will be, I'm sure, an ongoing topic for Jordan, as she spends more and more time bow hunting. It takes a lot of experience, and even with experience, it takes a fair amount of planning and rehearsal. Every time I get into a stand, even if I've been in it before, I go through all the shots. If the deer comes from here, where am I going to stop him? How far away is it? Where are my shooting lanes? What if he turns and does this? So I try to have a plan in mind for everything that the deer can do before he does it. That way, all you have to do is react instinctively when the moment comes rather than trying to think. I don't do very well trying to think when a nice buck is coming in. I would like to, but it's just really hard. I mean, I've been doing this long enough to know that I'm not going to suddenly become, ice water in the veins kind of a guy. It's like warm tea in my veins.
Coffee.
Hot coffee. It's not ice water. I don't know what it is. It's like sizzling adrenaline. But my point is, preparation is the key. And the more experience that you have creating those opportunities, the more you're able to see ahead of time where they're going to take place. Like you can anticipate a little bit better what's likely to happen and have a plan in mind. So you were asking Jordan a little bit about, with the different ways that a buck could come in, how do you pick your aiming point?
Yeah, and because we kind of started talking about the geometry of shots, and Dad, you made the point of you're aiming for your exit hole, which I'd never heard before, but it makes a lot of sense. And I think that visual really helps me when, imagining a shot and how you'd have to adjust your aiming point given the angle of the deer. And another thing that we talked about relating to geometry was when choosing between which pin to use. Because mine are sighted in at 15, 20, and 25 yards. And my first thought was, if you're shooting from up, in a tree, since the arrow has to travel farther at the angle, you'd want to use a longer pin. But you clarified that it's the relative distance, right?
Horizontal, yeah.
The horizontal, not the hypotenuse of the triangle.
Right.
Which makes sense when you think about it more. But so even if the tree is 20 yards away and the arrow has to travel 25 at the angle, you'd still use your 20-yard pin and pick a spot that gives you a good exit hole instead of just aiming for the spot you normally aim at.
Yeah, that's correct. So those are our shot selection, and
then I guess just knowing your
here we go, we got more.
I guess just knowing your own personal limitations. I don't shoot as much weight as someone like Dad, and so some of those trickier shots that he could pull off and just experience too. It wouldn't make any sense for me to take those. So even if he's been in the stand before and knows where his shot windows are, mine might be completely different. And they are completely different because I'm more limited. So just keeping that in mind.
It's a good point, because when you're shooting down from a tree stand, you have to penetrate more of the animal to get to the vitals, depending on the angle. So that's why I do like lower stands or ground blinds, you know, for less experienced or bow hunters that are using lower draw weight, because the angle to the vitals is easier. You don't have to go through as much tissue.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's all part of the game. You've got to understand as many variables as there are. I mean, there's like so much to understand about bow hunting, and just little by little you have to acquire that knowledge. The best way to do it is by watching videos like this, buying books, reading, studying. That way when you get into the field, probably a squirrel. When you get into the field, you're not wondering, nor are you learning the hard way.
Right.
It's way better to learn from the mistakes that other people have made.
Right.
I'm going to get back to trying to film squirrels.
Good luck.
Got about an hour and 20 minutes left. You know how they've got those like devotionals online. You could look up each day and like find something to ponder on, Bible verse, something similar. Well, I've got something for you to ponder today. Why do they have a bag limit on squirrels instead of a bounty? We've heard so many squirrels that we got desensitized to any kind of sound. And then, of course, this doe and fawn sneak right up on us. They were within 25, 30 yards before we even noticed them, but yet they've been coming the whole way, crunching through the same leaves. And I keep trying to get like these awesome squirrel videos to have some B-roll for you, because there's nothing else hardly moving except that flock of turkeys back behind us right now. Then Jordan gets the perfect squirrel video with her iPhone. That's like shooting a really nice buck with your bow. She's so lucky. All right, we're gonna try to separate the squirrel noises from the deer noises, and hopefully we can hear something coming in here and be ready. With half an hour left, even the squirrels have gone to bed. Thankfully. Maybe when we hear a crunch now, it'll actually be a deer. And if we do, we'll bring that action to you here at the end of the episode. Otherwise, we'll be back again tomorrow for another go round. Today I think was just a little too mild. It's a good day for taking a nap, curled up in the grass. I guess all the squirrels aren't sleeping. Still one down there. I think that's what all the old bucks are doing. They're all curled up taking naps. Well, we appreciate you joining us, and we'll see you right back here again tomorrow for the next episode of Hoyt's Bowhunting Whitetails. And remember to always dream
Big.